Good evening, one and all. Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the second day of International Conference on Social Work, Social Sciences, Medical Health, Allied Sciences and Technologies, Intergenerational Solidarity, Health, Well-being, Environment and Sustainable Development 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, Nation celebrating 77 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 and Viksit Bharat at 2047, and also commemorating World Social Work Day, Social Work Week and Social Work Month 2025 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India, Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing, International Federation of Social Workers, and all other collaborators at international, national, and regional level. We welcome you all on the second day of the international conference. So before we start our proceedings, we request everyone to fill the registration form, which has been raised in the form of polls in the Zoom platform. And also at the end of the session, there will be a feedback form, which will be raised in the form of polls. We request all the participants and presenters to mark your attendance for the certificate for each day, whichever day you are attending, by marking your attendance through registration form and feedback form in Zoom platform. That forms will be accessible only in Zoom platform. Whoever is attending the conference will only be able to fill the registration form and feedback form in Zoom platform. And those presenters waiting for their presentations have to share their details in chat box whenever they join, like topic or title of presentation, your full name, designation, and department, organization, and from the place where you are joining, mention city, state, country, email, mobile numbers, and duration in minutes for the presentation, all in one single message to the host or to Dr. Ravindra, so that you can be invited as per the message order. Kindly wait for your turn, and whenever requested, you can unmute yourself, start your video, and start your presentation. Kindly request everyone, those who are presenting, to go through the presentation guidelines and strictly adhere to the guidelines, because those are mandatory and criteria for the issue of certificates. So now let's take the blessings of Almighty before we start our sessions. Hope the instructions are clear.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
So with the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. And after these commemorations, we'll be inviting the presentations. So we request all the presenters to share your details in the chat box as per the format shown on screen. So today, we are commemorating so today we are commemorating various international and national days. We will complete the commemorations. Then we will go on to presentations, and we'll also have a session as part of annual workshop. So today we are commemorating European Wide Action Week Against Racism from March 16 to 24, in short known as EAWAR, which is observed from March 16 to March 24th every year. During this time, Europeans are encouraged to combat racism, discrimination, whether from racial slurs and targeted bullying to shared memes and content stereotyping people based on their ethnicity. This day is a chance to prevent and respond to discrimination, educate others on the adverse effects of racism, and share solutions on the best way to deal with the incidents of racial prejudice. EAWAR is part of No Hate Speech movement, a young campaign mobilizing young people to promote human rights and hate speech online. In 1966, the United Nations General Assembly established March 21st as the date of the European-wide Action Week Against Racism. The UN made the decision 6 years after the events of Sharpeville massacre, when over 60 people were brutally killed and more than 200 wounded by police while protesting against apartheid. The apartheid regime in South Africa was a state-enforced system of racial segregation and inequality that disproportionately benefited white Africans. So during European-wide Action Week Against Racism, the UN and its affiliate bodies call on NGOs, schools, community organizations, town councils, and all social groups in Europe to unite and fight against racism. So the anti-racist group United for Intercultural Action helps coordinate these events in 48 European countries. Since then, early 1990s, the group has worked as Europe Network Against Fascism, Racism, Discrimination, and Restrictive Migration and Asylum Policies. United's network of more than 500 organizations support migrants and refugees experiencing intolerance and prejudice in Europe. Every year during European-wide Action Week Against Racism, the network of thousands of volunteers engage in activities such as intercultural festivals, lectures, film screenings, conferences, putting up educational posters, and presenting reports on racial discrimination. Events are interactive and accessible. Everyone is encouraged to participate in the campaign by liaising with the organization online. United mobilizes thousands of Europeans to stand hand in hand against xenophobia and racism by organizing activities, spreading the message, and supporting others. So racism is the belief that certain ethnic groups possess certain behavioral traits, and these ethnic groups are divided based on superiority of one race over other. So we can stop racism by acknowledging that it exists, educating ourselves and others about its causes, and changing laws or policies that are racist. People subjected to racism often suffer from chronic stress, low self-esteem, and depression. So say no to racism, don't tolerate jokes, derogatory remarks, or prejudice treatment based on ethnicity. Call it out and make it clear that it's unacceptable. Many races are emboldened by the fact that most people just ignore them. Racism often comes from a place of ignorance. Educate yourself and others on ethnic and cultural differences. Understand that being different doesn't mean inferior. Understand systematic racism or systemic racism. It's not enough to know that racism exists. Understand how it works systematically or systemically takes you to the core of the issue rather than the fringes, which only show you the symptom of the disease and not the cause. Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to experience pregnancy related deaths than white women, even when they have similar income and education levels. African Americans are more likely than white Americans to be arrested, convicted, and experience lengthier sentences with a skewed justice system and unfair health care policies. There is also racism widely prevalent in school. 1 in 4 people reports experiencing racial discrimination in school each year. A study by Harvard University found when people of color and white surrounding names, they received more callbacks on job applications with prejudicial employment practices. Black workers have historically earned less than white workers. The race and gender gap is also widely prevalent. So these days, intended to promoting human rights, all humans are equal and none should feel inferior or superior to others, nor should they be treated differently because of their culture or ethnicity. Fighting racism promotes human rights, hate speech undermines democratic values, belittles others, and contributes to social instability. Silence is same as tolerance, so everyone must speak out against hate speech in its all forms. So diversity is a good thing. It gives us different perspective. And the life experiences to learn from it make societies more creative and inclusive. This week is also commemorated as National Animal Poison Prevention Week from March 6 to 23 or 22nd. Especially in US. So take a minute to pause and honor the National Animal Poison Prevention Week as part of animal welfare, which is held during the third full week in the March each year. So this year it takes place from March 16 to 22nd. This week educates pet owners on what can poison their pets and how to spot the signs of poisoning and how to help pets if they exhibit such signs. So this week ties into National Poison Prevention Week, which details the many dangers of spring season and how to protect humans from accidental poisoning. National Animal Poison Prevention Week runs as part of Pet Poison Prevention Awareness Month, a larger cause to spread awareness about pet poison. So humans started domesticating animals long ago, probably since the cavemen walked around. Their purpose in our lives gradually underwent a shift. However, cats no longer were simple rat traps, and dogs went from hunting partners to humans' best friends. As the bond grew, so did the knowledge that animals need as much, if not more, care as human did. Animal care might have been rudimentary by today's standards, but it still existed. Even the ancient Romans would spay, castrate, and even operate on their pets as form of care. Their invasion of various lands spread this knowledge of pet care, but the world still had a long way to go. In 1863, the American diplomat on assignment to Russia, Henry Bergh, prevented a carriage driver from beating his fallen horse. Upon returning to his hometown New York after his resignation, Berg founded the American Society of the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, in short known as ASPCA. It became the first and only humane society in the Western Hemisphere. Owners could not get information about pet care over the internet. So ASPCA and other organizations, pamphlets and articles came to rescue. By the 1900s, concern over animals had taken up upswing. People placed more value on the lives of animals. The next few decades saw organizations, even the Food and Drug Administration, taking more care to ensure every aspect of the pet care, pet stores, pet food, and even pet toys were safe. The ASPCA, among other organizations, influenced legislation and legal proceedings, bringing to light animal suffering and highlighting our responsibilities in this regard. All these years later, we now view animal care very differently. National Animal Poison Prevention Week reflects our changing view of pet care and is a special event to protect our pet buddies from accidental harm. So, what are those household items that can poison your pets? Sweet food items, many common sugarless gums, candies, mints, flavored multivitamins, desserts, and even baked goods might contain a sweetener called xylitol, which is toxic to dogs. Drugs like NSAIDs, acetaminophen, and antidepressants can cause serious health issues when ingested by pets. Some flowers, like lilies, are lethal to cats. Certain types of chocolate, such as baker's chocolate and dark chocolate, are more harmful to pets than other chocolate products. Fertilizers and pest control products are often combined with dangerous chemicals that are harmful to pets if ingested. So we are more aware of pet care, especially when what constitutes poison for pets and how to protect them. According to ASPCA website, countless poisoning complaints come in every year, and most are accidental poisonings. So spreading the word about National Animal Poison Prevention Week can help save our vulnerable pets from harm. We are reducing our consumption of pet toxic products, or at the very least storing them where our pets cannot get to them. So today is also commemorated as National Anonymous Giving Week from March 16th to 22nd, mostly, especially in the US. So this is celebrated annually during the third full week of March. People choose to donate money to their favorite causes without revealing their identities, whether for religious reasons or because they do not want to be recognized for their generosity. That is very important, especially in social work and social service, where funding plays a crucial role in taking up various responsibilities. Even popular celebrities and philanthropists may want to remain anonymous when they make large donations. In the end, what really matters is helping the less privileged. A gift for charity, humanitarian relief, or to benefit a cause is known as donation. Money, services, or products such as clothing, toys, food, or automobiles anything can be donated in cash or kind. A donation could also meet a medical need like blood or organs for transplantation and so on, in whatever way one can. According to the Black Bar, internet donations in the US increased by 11% in 2012. They accounted for about 7% of total fundraising, up to 6% in 2011, and close to all-time high of 8% in 2010, when the internet donating skyrocketed in reaction to the Haitian disaster relief efforts. The internet has now become the preferred first response method for donation during catastrophes and other emergencies. In 2015, mobile devices accounted for 14% of all online donations, and the International Ongoing Giving Day saw a 52% increase in donations over the previous year. So National Anonymous Giving Week aims to highlight the importance of giving and improving the lives of others. It emphasizes acts of kindness without having to take credit for it. The world is a better place when we take the needy into account and do our part to help them get some of the resources we enjoy. In the United States, dark money often refers to political spending by a non-profit organization that isn't mandated to reveal its donors. While anonymous donations are less prevalent than public donations, the reasons behind it can be just as strong. For example, giving may make you feel good, but the results you want may be better achieved if the focus is on cause rather than the contributor. If your anonymity is important to you, let the sponsor know the name and fund something that won't be associated with you. Charity checks may simply reference the name of the fund at the request of anonymous donor. However, the institution that manages the fund would usually be aware of the donor's identity. So giving shouldn't be about getting credit or recognition. As nowadays, most of the people do. They spend 1 rupee and they expect a 1 crore publicity everywhere. That is not the point of actually giving. That is not the sense and meaning of giving charity. If you are expecting something out of charity, then you are not doing charity or philanthropic activity, but you are doing business. So then you cannot call it as charity. Because even if you are expecting name and fame out of it, then that is a business. It's not charity. So what you can with people without giving away your identity by sharing and serving, donating today without any name or fame or without expecting anything, without revealing your identity. Kindness works better when we all contribute and get your family, friends, and people around you to donate anonymously too. Start a charity or foundation for a special cause, collect donations from anonymous donors, including yourself and the friends you have encouraged to join. Your new charity can be anonymous too when you send all you have gathered to its beneficiaries. And don't do business in the name of charity. You can do charity in the business, but never do business in the name of charity or business in charity. That is the worst thing one can do. Over 7.2% of fundraising revenue, except for grants, is raised online. So the average donor in the United States is 62 years old. In 2016, donations to charities reached over $390 billion, and December is the top giving month, followed by June. Charitable giving increases about 1/3 as fast as the stock market. So nothing expresses love better than helping someone in need. We get to spread the love around on National Anonymous Giving Week. In a society where taking credit for the help rendered seems more important than actually helping, this day emphasizes what matters. This week, we are reminded to focus on what making an impact rather than getting recognition. So charity and giving will always have positive effects on society and also on individual. As we share values of communal development on National Anonymous Giving Week, we do our part to make the world a better place. So this week is also commemorated as National Poison Prevention Week, not for just pets, but also for humans. So it is observed during third week of March every year and exists to highlight the risk of being poisoned by household products. Take a peek under your kitchen sink in your laundry room. There might be tons of stuff that could be dangerous. Household cleaning agents, prescription medications, pesticides, and other items can pose serious hazards to the health and well-being of our families and even our pets. So National Poison Prevention Week is here to raise awareness of these dangers and to make sure we all are mindful of what lurks in our own homes. Over 2 million potential poisonings are reported in the US every year, with over 90% of these occurring in the home and the majority of them being young children. Every day, over 300 children require treatment in an emergency department, with an average of 2 deaths per day being recorded. Most of these incidents revolve around highly toxic household items such as cleaning products and medicine. In 1962, the National Poison Prevention Week Council was established to oversee national poison. So the focus their energies on partnering with other agencies such as National Safety Council and the American Cleaning Institute to try and be more effective in their awareness campaigns. So there are always things we can do at home to implement poison control. Useful tips include cleaning out your medicine cabinet periodically, keeping all chemicals out of sight from children, and keeping all items in its original container. If you don't know much about poison prevention and would like to learn more, visit the Poison Help website, which educates us on ways to prevent poisoning and to respond if it occurs, and how to respond. And sessions like this online also give you awareness. So any sessions are happening like this online, you can attend them. Since National Poison Prevention Week and Spring Fall in the same week, this is a perfect time to deep clean the rooms in your home and get rid of old and outdated products. And open windows when using strong chemicals to allow air into the house. The National Poison Prevention Week Council also holds an annual poster contest to promote National Poison Prevention Week. This is a fun activity you could do with your friends after you make your posters, put them in your neighborhoods to spread more awareness. Poisons pose a threat of widespread danger. About 30 children die every year from being poisoned by common household items, according to the Consumer Product Safety Commission. They are also a source of close calls and worry. The Consumer Product Safety Commission also reports that accidental poisoning accounts for more than 2 million calls each year to poison control centers and more than 80,000 visits to the emergency room. So, National Poison Prevention Week contributed to an 80% of reduction in person-related deaths since the early 1970s, which is an effective advocacy and education can help. Carbon monoxide is a poisonous gas that has no color or smell. Cars, appliances, furnaces, and other household items can emit carbon monoxide. Someone calls a US poison control center every 12 seconds. So poison centers are here 24/7 to help and support us when poisonings happen, but to prevent them at all costs. So the Consumer Product Safety Commission warns that 9 out of 10 unintentional child poisonings happen in the home. Poison Prevention Week gives us the tools to make sure our children don't So it is easy to become overwhelmed by the warning labels affixed to the products we bring into our homes. Poison Prevention Week inspires us to learn the basics and to continuously update our knowledge with the latest info. Parents play a critical role in helping their tweens learn about the responsible use of OTC over-the-counter medicines. Today is also commemorated as School's Library Media Center Week, especially in US from March 16 to 22nd, which creates awareness as evolving into a new and exciting space. The School Library Media Center students learn skills that prepare them for the complexities of living and working in the modern world. Information is available in several formats, combining print and electronic materials and activities coordinated with classroom assignments. A school media library media center is a learning center in a publicly or privately funded school or school district whose mission is to deliver instruction, collaborate on learning methods, and offer resources to support and expand the curriculum. Today, school library media centers are crucial in preparing students for the future. If it is here that kids learn how to locate, analyze, evaluate, and articulate ideas and information, they pick up responsibilities required to work and live in information-based world. The school library media center is automated, uses all forms of media, and gathers information via the internet and as well as the books. Several centers have activities that are directly incorporated into the curriculum. In addition to operating as independent study centers, materials are chosen with the primary goal of enriching and supporting the school's educational program, but to promote the experiences of reading and learning as well as the lifelong use of libraries. With the founding of American Library Association, ALA in short, by a group of librarians spearheaded. The most early libraries had apartments above them within the proximity, and the Library of Congress is the largest library in the world. In 1731, Benjamin Franklin ran a lending library. Vermont has a library that extends across the US border into Canada, bridging the gap. Yale University Library allowed students to spend few minutes with the therapy dog. So having the ability to access, analyze, use, and produce information in a variety of media is crucial for higher education. Institutions, employers, and civil society, school librarians often information provide. Students who feel comfortable and nurtured at school are better engaged in their studies and perform better. School libraries provide welcoming learning environments, manage resources that support children's health and well-being, and encourage students to read for pleasure. When librarians implement new educational technologies, students learn how to safely and productively utilize tools and resources that enhance inquiry, cooperation, and creativity. Teachers can also use the resources supplied by the school library to improve the classroom teachings. This week is also commemorated as Sunshine Week from March 16 to 22nd, especially in US, to coincide with the National Freedom of Information Day, which occurs on the same day, which takes place from March 16 to 22nd. United States signed the Freedom of Information Act into law in 1996. Actually, the Freedom of Information Act is a legal instrument that offers citizens and journalists access to information and documents controlled by the United States government, furthering government transparency. The ideas of such an act date back to 1952 when the John Moses of Sacramento, California was elected to Congress. It was during the Cold War. When government was secretive, Morse began campaigning for openness in governance when he was denied access to information he needed it to investigate employees sacking cases. The government claimed they dismissed the individuals for being in communities. Today is also commemorated as World Folk Tales and Fables Week from March 16 to 22nd, especially in US. This day is not driven or held by any one organization. It's down to individuals and groups to decide how they celebrate. This event is dedicated to encouraging everyone to explore the lessons and cultural background of folk tales, fables, myths, and legends from around the world. Much like the folk tales and fables, this holiday So humans have been telling tales and fables since our species knew how to talk. Our early ancestors spent countless nights beside fires and huddled together in the dark while stories were told. These folk tales and fables are rich in cultural references and are passed down. These folk tales and fables are rich in cultural references and are passed down through generations. As we grew as a civilization, so too did our stories. Myths our families and tribes were dawn of our species have mostly been lost to the time now. But the myths of ancient civilizations from around the world lived on hundreds of years and are still retold and remade today, often morphing as they stretch across countries and continents. The early evidence of visual storytelling is found in a cave in France dating back to 30,000 years ago. So you might be wondering what is different between folk tales and fables. Folk tales are stories that are told orally and passed down through the generation, while fables are a category of folk tales and are more about teaching a moral lesson than holding history. A fable is characterized by its short length and always has a moral to be learned. An iconic example of a fable is the tortoise and the hare. So experts speculate that the art of storytelling is a form of communication that is as old as language itself. Roughly 65% of our daily conversation consists of stories, whether it's about your frustrations or others. Stories have always brought people together. History and civilizations have been built on the nation of the stories which sell and tell to each other. Humans are defined by our end to create and share stories, from the books we write to the multi-million movies and shows we create for others to watch. Stories are such an integral part of our culture and society as a whole that is impossible to separate one from each other. Today is also commemorated as Black Press Day in US, which is observed on March 16th. Every year it commemorates when the first black newspaper, Freedom's Journal, hits the stand in New York City in 1827. For nearly 200 years, the sources for nearly 200 years since black publishers, writers, photographers, and editors have spoken truth to power on issues of racism. They are different groups united by one mission, unapologetic, unabashed documentation of the black experience. When black criticized citizens today, we celebrate the efforts of these extraordinary people who redefined journalism. There is an enduring safety and legacy that remains relevant, especially when news channels propagate singular narratives and notions of the other. The black press comprised citizen journalists, political pundits, and activists from different walks of life. Their objective was to promote civil rights and speak truth to power on racism. The black press began in 1827 when an African American group of New Yorkers were decided not to be tolerant the constant denigration of the black population in the mainstream. They founded the Freedom's Journal. So, founded in 1884, the Philadelphia Turbine is the oldest and largest newspaper for the African American community. The Los Angeles Sentinel, the Jackson Advocate, the Michigan Chronic, and Chicago Defender are all other excellent publications. Young Douglas bartered bread with white children in his neighborhood to learn about how to read two books, calling out former slave years after his. So young Douglas bartered bread and white children in his neighborhood to learn how to read books. So news can be biased and cater to mainstream narratives. We must always analyze the source and agenda behind any news story to get the truth. So the road to equality is a long one still, and yet easier for the others and sacrifices of people who came before us. Black Press Day preserves and continues their legacy. Awareness of different realities can change people's long-standing beliefs and prejudice. Alternative, credible news sources are fantastic starting point to dismantle prejudice and remove the blinkers from the people's eyes. Today is also commemorated as Young Carers Action Day, especially in UK. So Young Carers Awareness Day remained renamed as Carers Association, Young Carers Action Day and formally marked on January 30, but now taking place on March 16 from 2021 onwards. Is observed throughout the UK and to shed light on the tough lives of young carers. A carer is a person who looks after the physically and mentally ill members of their families. Due to the absence of social security nets and government assistance, many young people have to fill the roles of carers in their families, which adversely affects their own ideas, their own lives and prospects. Young Carers Action Day, now observed on March 16th, offers practical support and help to thousands of young carriers all across the world or island. So, Young Carers Action Day is an annual observance to recognize the contribution of young carers in our society. The day is organized by the Carers Trust, a charity organization formed by the merger of two non-profits, Crossroads Care and the Princess Royal Trust for Carers in UK. Although Young Carers Action Day, the trust aims to raise awareness about many difficulties faced by the young carers. Recent statistics reveal that 1 in every 5 young adults in the UK are at the risk of becoming a carer, and most of them are untrained and unprepared to handle such a burden. The years of voluntary services, sacrifices, and institutional neglect can have devastating impacts on young people. As young people have enough on their plates from handling school to preparing for exams, they do not deserve the added responsibility of caring for someone else. Carers Trust works with a network of charities to offer mutual aim, and emergency support to young carers. The collective effort of the trust has helped thousands of young carers and affected families with resources, social services, and educational opportunities. In September 2020, it was announced that the event will undergo some changes. Previously, only children and teens below the age of 18 were covered by the trust. To increase the scope of the event, the age limit has now been raised to cover young adults 18 to 25. The name of the event has also been changed to Young Carers Action Day from Young Carers Awareness Day, and the date of event moved to March 16. So, Carers Trust brings recognition to young carers who sacrifice a great deal of their life to take care of an ailing family member or acquaintance. Through its resource network of charities, Carers Trust works to elevate the needs of unpaid carers and provide them with practical solutions and some much needed help. Most of the activities of the children their age engage in seeing friends, attending events, getting their homework done on time, etc. So nowadays we have a kind of routine that is taking selfies. And recently, too much of involving into selfie has turned out to be as selfie disorder. And now, on this day, we are also commemorating No Selfies Day. Especially in US, on March 16th, which act of taking a selfie may predate social media, smartphones, and bird itself. Selfies have always been popular over the years. Selfies have become easier to take And today you can click a selfie on almost every device. Selfie sticks and multifunctional camera phones make it all too convenient to take selfies and group selfies or groupies. However, on No Selfies Day, we are not allowed to take any selfies or groups we know. Selfie addiction has been linked with psychologically damaging behavior. Research has revealed that a woman, on average, spends about 104 minutes each week trying to capture perfect selfies. Selfies have become a cultural phenomenon because they reveal the basic human desire to feel noticed, appreciated, and recognized. Due to fast paced social media development, people take selfies and upload them for likes and comments to keep up with the trends. Selfies are even enhanced with lights, filters, effects, and more. As a result, people tend to become more confused between someone's online presence and their real life, leading to a rise in body dysmorphia cases. Studies also show that we can be negatively affected when someone comments something hurtful, dislikes our image, or even when the image doesn't get as many likes or comments as one would expect. So, No Selfies Days gives both the chance and acts as a reminder to forget selfies for at least a day and photograph others instead. Or perhaps just take mind picture to store for years to come. In 2013, selfie has been the word of the year in the Oxford dictionaries. So, on an average, Google reported in 2019 that their Android devices take about 93 million selfies every single day. According to various studies, women post more selfies, but not by such a big margin as you might think. In 2021, a study showed that 64% of women had taken selfies and 60% of men. So, is it bad to post selfies? No, but many selfies highlighting your physical appearance or lots of selfie collages may say you are a bit higher on some narcissistic traits. Selfie posters may also be perceived as lonelier, less independent, and less likable than people who have friends to take their photos for them. So there's no brainer or no selfies day. So set yourself free from the judgment of the camera's eye and the approval of your peers through likes and comments on social media. Spend the day by living your life and being in the moment. Take no selfies. Celebrities No Selfies Day by going on a photo walk. You can take photos of animals, buildings, other people, and anything that catches your eye. If you love photography, professionally or otherwise, No Selfies Day is a good day to buy photography software and equipment. You can also join a photography club to meet the like-minded people. So the Eiffel Tower is a famous backdrop for selfie, which has been tagged in over 10,000 selfies in 2015. The average millennial will take about 25,700 selfies in their lifetime. Most selfie takers are about 23 years old. The world's largest groupie. It was clicked at the international conference of Chabad Lubavitch emissaries with 2,000 people in the photo. The hashtag debates on Instagram in 2011, Jennifer Lee was the first to caption her photo with selfie on Instagram. So an average teenage girl spends up to 1 hour, 24 minutes every week trying to get the perfect selfie. So No Selfie Day is a reminder to take a break from this exercise. Selfies can create a negative self-image and make us dependent on validation from others. It encourages self-love. Taking a break from clicking selfies on No Selfies Days encourages self-love. So a chance to revisit history. No Selfies Day might be an ironic holiday, but it's a great opportunity to revisit history and see how this form of photography has developed over centuries. You might be surprised at what you will find. Today is also commemorated as National Vaccination Day. In India, as part of awareness and educational event every year on March 16, the day conveys the importance of vaccination and its role in public health. On this day in 1995, the first dose of the oral polio vaccine was given in India. Vaccination or immunization is the most effective prevention method of highly infectious diseases. According to the World Health Organization, immunization is a proven tool for controlling and eliminating life threatening infections. Vaccination is crucial to improving public health and life expectancy standards and elevating social economic impact at the community and national levels. So, the practice of vaccination dates back to hundreds of years. Evidence points to various earlier civilizations employing smallpox inoculation from 1000 AD. Even the African and Turkish people practiced it before it spread to Europe and the Americas. Edward Jenner is considered the founder of vaccinology in the West after he inoculated a 13-year-old boy with vaccinavirus cowpox in 1976 and demonstrated immunity to smallpox. In 1798, the first smallpox vaccine was developed, and during the 18th and 19th centuries, mass smallpox immunization led to the disease eradication in 1979. Experiments by Louis Pasteur led to the development of cholera and inactivated anthrax vaccines, and the plague vaccine was also invented in the late 19th century. Between 1890 and 1950, bacterial vaccine development increased, including the BCG vaccination, which we still use today. In 1923, Alexander Glennie researched the perfect method to inactivate tetanus toxin with formaldehyde, and then the same method led to the development of diphtheria vaccine in 1926. Viral tissue culture methods developed from 1950 to 1985 led to the advent of Salk and Sabin polio vaccines. Thanks to mass immunization, polio is nearly eradicated in many countries globally. So we have made massive strides in vaccinology in the past 2 decades and have seen the successful development and manufacturing of recombinant hepatitis B and seasonal influenza vaccines. We will see even more effective vaccines with advancing technology, including therapeutic vaccines for allergies, autoimmune diseases, and addictions. So large-scale vaccine production started in 1940s. Scientific knowledge develops to allow large-scale vaccine production and disease control effects. The MMR vaccine, measles, mumps, and rubella vaccines are combined to form the MMR vaccine in 1960s. The smallpox vaccine is removed and discontinued after global elimination in 1972. But we can see still rarely smallpox is occurring. Vaccines needed to fight the COVID-19 pandemic are approved in 2020. Although India did develop a polio vaccine, the inactivated vaccine developed by Jonas Salk in the US proved more effective. India was one of the leaders in polio research and helped manufacture the polio vaccine and injectable polio vaccine. So the day is all about sharing the message that vaccination saves lives, and it is important. Even today, National Vaccination Day or National Immunization Day is observed on March 16 because of the first dose of oral polio vaccine was distributed in India in 1995. So the World Health Organization celebrates World Immunization Week in the last week of April every year. The purpose of this week is to educate people on why it's important to vaccinate and protect people of all ages against diseases. They aim to increase trust and confidence in vaccines and routine immunization. So pull out your vaccination records and see the vaccines that you have received since birth. Thanks to timely vaccinations, you will be surprised to see how safe you are from deadly diseases. So schedule a vaccine appointment if you have missed a vaccination or need one due to medical condition. Consider scheduling an appointment on National Vaccination Day or in this week or month. The day serves as a perfect reminder. Many people spread misinformation about vaccines and are apprehensive. Dispel misinformation on social media and encourage people to seek information from reliable sources. Vaccines save lives as more than 2.5 million lives are saved each year to be precise. Some vaccines are given as shots while others are given orally, having different ways to administer vaccines. No cases of smallpoxes have been recorded since 1997. I mean, significantly. There are still there, but that is significantly less, which can be safely said as eradicated. But eradicated doesn't mean that there is no case in this world. They are significantly very less. So vaccines don't have the active virus in them. They merely mimic the virus. So infants receive their first vaccination at 8 weeks, then at 12 weeks and 16 weeks and so on. So vaccines and immunization programs save lives. They are crucial to healthy life and uplifting people socially and economically. The development of vaccines is probably one of the greatest and most essential human achievements. National Vaccine Day celebrates the triumphs of medical science. National Vaccine Day is a perfect day or perfect opportunity to thank researchers, scientists, and healthcare workers who ensure we are healthy. They work tirelessly to develop vaccines. Today, we are also commemorating National Panda Day every year on March 16. We celebrate the fluffiest bamboo munching bears that are a source of national pride for China. There are two subspecies of panda, the giant black and white panda and the Qingling panda, a much smaller brown subspecies of panda discovered in 1985 in the mountain ranges of the southern Shanxi province in China. In the wilderness, giant pandas live only in the remote mountainous regions of China. As of 2019, due to rapidly growing population numbers, the status of pandas was upgraded from endangered species to vulnerable species. Still, it is reported that there are less than 2,000 pandas left in the wild due to habitat loss, farming, fur hunting, and other factors. Pandas only live about 15 to 20 years in the wild, but those in captivity can live even longer. Panda bears play an important part in the ecosystem of China's bamboo forests by spreading seeds and therefore growing new vegetation which serves both humans and animals. That's why it is important to protect the panda and its environment. One factor contributing to their endangered status is low birth rate for pandas. Considering that female pandas are only fertile 2 or 3 days of the year, and it makes sense that reproduction in the wild is more difficult for this species. There are about 27 zoos worldwide that protect giant pandas and forest environments to encourage reproduction. The most important factor for preserving wild pandas is to protect their environment, especially bamboo forests, their main source of nutrition and food. Though the origin of this day, we can assume that day was created to bring awareness to the beauty of pandas in order to keep them from going extinct. In 1961, the Worldwide Fund for Nature was formed and created their logo around panda because it is an animal that is beautiful, endangered, and loved by many people in the world. As said by Sir Peter Scott, one of the first Worldwide Fund founders. The panda became a symbol of the conservation movement around the world, a call to action to preserve endangered species and our natural wildlife environments for our wild animals. 2020, due to reproduction efforts in zoos, reforestation, and conservation campaigns, pandas are considered vulnerable to extinction. Though they are no longer on the brink of extinction, it is important to keep the environment for pandas intact. As the giant panda plays an important part in our natural ecosystem, there have been some political debates in China and worldwide recently on how important it is to keep spending money on to breed pandas in captivity and wild, protect the forests of China where the wild panda bears live. According to a scientific paper published in 2015 by the Society of Conservation Biology, preserving the natural habitat of the giant panda also helps 70% of the country's forest birds, 70% of mammals, and 31% of amphibians. So pandas play a crucial role in forests and it's our job to protect them. So pandas are omnivores. Though they are physiologically made to eat meat, they prefer to eat vegetarian, occasionally eating some meat, though its diet is reportedly 99% bamboo. So occasionally they eat, but if they have bamboo full of stomach or full of availability, they never prefer any non-vegetarian. So the Kung Fu Panda animated series is a place to start to learn about pandas. But real life documentaries will go pandas more justice. So for example, watch A Panda is Born documentary about Taishan, which describes the life of one of the most famous pandas in the world, who was born in the National Zoo in Washington, D.C., as it is the first panda to survive to maturity. And pandas don clothes with panda logos or buy panda paraphernalia, especially if it contributes to the conservation of the panda species. You never know, you might be interested in learning more than just the fluffy cuteness of these creatures. So start a conversation. You can also adopt a panda. You can sponsor and virtually adopt a panda online, which could help for their future existence. The cost to care for a panda in captivity can be expensive, but if you are providing these creatures with longer, peaceful lives by sponsoring or adopting panda. Pandas spend 14 hours just eating. This amounts of consuming up to 83 pounds of bamboo every day, depending on which part of the bamboo they are eating. The scientific name for the panda is Ailuropoda melanoluca, which means black and white cat food. The newborn pandas are blind. They start to see around 6 weeks old. Throughout their lives, they rely on spatial memory more than visual memory. Pandas use their enlarged wrist bones to eat, which function as opposable thumbs, 5 fingers, and a pseudo thumb. Jia Jia, a giant female panda at Ocean Park in Hong Kong, lived to age 38 from March 1978 to October 2016, is the oldest panda in the captivity. So now, pandas also serve as an international symbol of friendship and peace. Exchanges of giant pandas to American and Japanese zoos in the 1970s marked some of the first cultural gifts exchanged between China and the West. This has been termed as panda diplomacy. The Chinese still consider the pandas to be honored guests, and some people believe they bring good luck. Though pandas are normally shy and antisocial with humans, they love to cuddle with each other and nap for hours after a meal. It's hard not to love these fluffy, tuxedo-wearing mammals, both in wild and in zoos. A giant panda baby is the smallest mammal newborn relative to its mother's size. When they are born, they are usually the size of a stick of butter. Today is also commemorated as Freedom of Information Day, especially in US, which is observed on March 16th on the birthday of former President James Madison. This day ensures that the public is aware of all the government's information and provided with the necessary information. Thanks to the RTA Act, Right to Information Act, and various other policies and acts, now we can access government information easily. The information that the government can hold on many include the decision it makes, the facts it discovers, and sometimes private information on people for surveillance purposes. Under the Freedom of Information Act, an individual can demand the information they want by requesting it, and this information is provided free of cost or with a minimal fee. The Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, as was passed on July 1966 in US and came into effect a year later. The date was chosen since Madison was an advocate for the freedom of data and individual rights to obtain the correct information. This day serves as a yearly reminder of significance of transparency within the American government and the public's right to information. So the right to information was the fruit of labor of several people who dedicated their entire lives fighting for it. Freedom of Information Day celebrates the idea of free information, giving more power and transparency to people and making democracies strong. Every person has an equal role in nation's governance, which means that everyone's vote is important. The same fact applies to freedom of information. Every citizen deserves to know the facts related to the government. This helps people to make important decisions and ensure that their government and elected representatives serve them well. Freedom of information means that the public has the right to access information pertinent to their interests. The UN recognizes it as a fundamental human right. The main threat to national security, which can be internal or external, certain information could be used to incite strong public disturbances and riots, which could possibly destabilize the government, are one of the disadvantages of freedom of information. Freedom of information contributes to government openness, accountability, transparency, and represents an important instrument to prevent and combat corruption. It can also help increase government efficiency and responsiveness along with civic trust. So gather information on your rights and the current political scenario in your area, the latest bill passed, and more. Try to analyze how the information is useful for you. You can share information by having get-togethers and spreading what you know. Holding discussions and debates will also help you learn more facts from others, like these online sessions. Social media empowers the masses with information and knowledge. Remember to get online information only from authentic and reputable sources before sharing information. So the Act also have certain limitations, as the Act was initially considered not a success. The first amendment of the law occurred in 1974 after Watergate. The Electronic Freedom of Information Act amendments of 1996 allows for the freedom of online information. The FOIA does not apply to Congress, the judiciary, or the White House central offices, which are classified. So you can submit requests by mail, fax, email, or online forms. Obtaining information is a fairly easy task. And the right to information is every democratic citizen's right. Freedom of Information Day reminds us that of this invaluable power and teaches us how to make the best use of it. The freedom to correct information allows citizens to hold their governments responsible. Freedom of Information Day is a great reminder to hold your government accountable. Access to information makes us aware of and enables us to make decisions that favor all citizens and the nation. When we know more, we can do more. Today is also commemorated as Everything You Do Is Right Day, especially in the US. So this comes a day after everything you think is a wrong day, that is yesterday, and cheers up after feeling bad about decisions we might have made the day before. So everyone takes decisions. And again, it depends whether it is a good decision or bad decision based on the consequences. Everything you do is a right day reminds us that everything will be all right. No matter what happened yesterday, today can be its own bright day. Nothing can go wrong today because everything you do is right and it's going to be a perfect day. Everything you do is going to turn out right no matter your age or status. But don't be overconfident. Just feel relaxed, good about it, yourself. But please don't use everything you do is a right day as excuse to hurt anyone and get away with it. Spend time with cheerful and positive people on everything you do is a right day. Surrounding yourself with cheerful people means that some of their positivity will rub off on you. Practice self care, celebrate the day by going on to spa, practicing yoga, or simply watching a marathon of your favorite sitcom or attending online sessions like this. And there's no wrong way to celebrate the day. So, this day makes us feel good about the decisions we make. It's a day of positivity and contentment and lots of fun. If you have been feeling insecure, everything you do is right day can do wonders for your confidence. It can help you feel self assured and confident about what you do. Since the day can be celebrated by practicing self care and spending time with those you love, everything you do is right is a perfect opportunity to take a break. After all, spending time with your loved ones is always the right thing to do. So today is also commemorated as National Bubble Week from March 16th to 23rd. This is also, especially in US, during the first week of spring, as bubbles are used to welcome each new spring during the National Bubble Week. The fun of iridescence of bubbles have become synonymous with spring, making them an apt symbol. So this week is a great time to invite kids and adults alike to kick off the season by blowing bubbles in the great outdoors. Actually, as soap began to spread across the world, bubbles followed with their beautiful iridescence. Soap bubbles made bath time more fun for children in medieval Europe, helped Da Vinci ponder the concept of surface tension and dazzle Newton with their colors. The soap bubble has been even made itself a staple in literary devices across the globe, often used as a symbol of transience of human life or to represent beauty. Since time immemorial, soap bubbles have fascinated children, while younger children may be content with watching. As they get older, they are quick to participate in creating bubbles. Playing with soap bubbles has several developmental advantages as well. It helps children develop dexterity, social skills, and an understanding of the basic laws of physics. And the deep breathing required to blow bubbles is reportedly good for relaxation. For adults, bubbles bring back fonded childhood memories, such as thoughts are sure to relieve stress a bit briefly. The soap bubble often represents joy or the dangers of transient happiness. In general, people associate it with children and playfulness. So, bubble painting is a fun way to engage both adults and kids. Start a bubble painting project and create a masterpiece. If staying indoors is your thing and art isn't, try finding some Leftover bubble wrap from an old shipping package, popping the bubbles is an underrated delight that may also relieve stress. Or simply go outside and blow some bubbles around. You may stroll to a nearby park to celebrate with other people in your community, or stay in front yard, or have some private fun and reflection. The colors from the iridescence light gets distorted when it passes through a bubble is the source of bubble colors. Many bubbles come together to form foam. A layer of water is sandwiched between two layers of soap. Bubbles have three layers. Bubbles always try to become sphere because of their surface tension. Bubbles often burst because the water between the two layers of soap evaporates. Thus, bubbles last longer in cold temperatures, as heat is the enemy. There's a reason why bubbles have been loved for millennia. They are simply fun to create and watch. This week also is a perfect opportunity to spend time with your kids, plan a great bubble themed project to do together. And allergy season aside, who doesn't love spring? This week marks the beginning of a spring, the most pleasant time of the year in the West. So with this, we can see a lot of commemorations across the world are contributing in different ways in promoting various activities of the day and also promoting health and well-being, wellness, and various initiatives directly and indirectly promoting the sustainable development goals in its own initiatives and its own context. So though we can also associate with each goal, again, we are not doing it because of paucity of time. And as we have individual sessions dedicated for that, now as part of conference, we invite the presenters and participants to be proactive now in making presentations and also giving feedback on the presentations. So now we request all the participants to get ready for the sessions by the presenters. So all the presenters are requested to share your details in the chat box as you can see on the screen, and we will be inviting you one after the other for your presentations. So all the presenters have to share their details in the chat box. So we'll move on to chat box and see. We'll be inviting you one by one as per the messages we have received. So Shilpa Bhagat. They ensure that you are strictly following the format, otherwise you'll miss out. We also need to record your details. So ensure that all your details are shared in the chat box in the given format. So you have just mentioned the title and you have not mentioned other details. Put all the details in one single message. Okay, others also, those who are waiting for the presentation, share your details in the chat box. So we'll invite you one by one. So we'll start with Shilpa Bhagat, and will be, once we give you co-host permissions, you will be able to see a form poll, and you will also get an option to end poll. We request not to end the poll. If you end the poll, you will not be eligible for certificate or any further proceedings on the conference, as you will also prevent others from registering themselves. So be cautious, especially don't do anything that is not intended to be done. Your role when you are given permission is to just unmute yourself, start your video, share your presentations. Do not open, do not close anything other than that. If you are found doing any other things, then you will be permanently banned on the platform and you will not be eligible for anything. So that's why don't wander up with any other things. Once you are invited, follow the presentation, and all the presenters are requested to go through the presentation guidelines and follow them. It is mandatory for the presentation. So now we invite Shilpa Bhagat for revolutionizing story education, story, history education. Okay, it might be spelling mistake. Integrating artificial intelligence in line with NEP. You can raise your hand if you are available. Shilpa Bhagat, are you there? Yeah, you can now unmute yourself. Start your video and presentation.
Thank you so much, sir.
Just
Good
minimize
evening, sir.
the whole window. Good evening, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Now, can I share my screen?
You start your video as well.
Okay, thank you, sir.
There is some light behind you.
Yes, sir. Okay. Is it okay, sir?
Now it's fine. You can start sharing your PPT.
Okay.
You can go to first slide. If possible, make it full screen. Now we can continue. Introduce yourself and then start with your talk. And your backlight is dominating you. Okay, you can continue. You have to unmute yourself, ma. You are muted.
Is it fine, sir?
Now we
Am
can
I
hear
audible?
you. Share your presentation.
Okay. Revolutionizing history education, integrating artificial intelligence in line with NEP 2020. So, uh, I have already heard it, but when I went to literature to find something
Introduce
interesting.
yourself, ma. Who you are?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shilpa. I have worked in Kendriya Vidyalaya as history teacher. There, I found this something wrong with the experience of people. They think this subject to be very dry. Now, I left that job and worked as curriculum developer, and now I am studying the curriculum. So my interest started from there. Why people think history to be a dull subject. So when I went back to the literature to find something more interesting, but I found again something weird, which is like I have started my presentation with like James Joyce, which is who is a very famous poet. He said that history is a nightmare from which I must awake. And when I again found the literature, there was this line that history is boring. It is all about dates. There is so much to mug up. You will get tired of writing long answers. It is so irrelevant. I don't know why do they even teach it. And same study in 1991, a survey in by BM Sheikh in his book has mentioned that it is not the history that is boring, but it is the pedagogy. So he has given me the hope again that the pedagogy can help uh, a history teacher in bringing again it to life, as people think it is dull. So I would like to share one this photograph and another this photograph, which is using AI tools and more interactive tools in its classroom. It seems to be more interesting than this our traditional classroom. Okay. Now, introduction. The National Education Policy, NEP 2020, emphasizes the integration of technology, including artificial intelligence, to modernize education and foster 21st century skill. When I say 21st century skill, this means critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communication, and digital literacy. Interactive digital tools have been shaping and reshaping the way students engage with history and social study material for decades. Under heading 4, titled in NEP, it is mentioned that curriculum and pedagogy in schools, what it is, learning should be holistic, integrated, enjoyable, and engaging. This multimodal historical timeline should be used in form of videos, podcasts, digital collection of primary sources, engaging games and simulations. 3D modeling tools can also be used, and there are ample of ways which can help this subject to bloom. So we can use interactive technology, and when I searched on internet, there are so many apps, so many things that we can integrate it while teaching. So, Adler-Dale cone of experience of learning, or what it shows that after 2 weeks, we tend to remember only 10% what we read, 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see, 50% of what we hear and see, 70% of what we say, 90% of what we say and do. This, as we go higher, the cone is becoming more narrower. So the scope is at the bottom of the cone. At the bottom of the cone, it is more active and engaged learning, because people here do, as Confucius has earlier mentioned, that when I see, I don't remember, I forgot, and like that, when I do, I understand. So same is the concept given by Adler-Dale's cone of experience, that when a student is actively participating, the experience is he feels more engaging, and the learning outcomes are more fruitful. So the upper side of cone represent passive learning, and lower bottom side of this cone shows active learning. Active learning, that means if I go with this language, teaching language, the student will be able to identify, define, create, and evaluate. And the and it is more similar to Bloom taxonomy. I'm sorry, Bloom taxonomy. The higher we go, the more efforts we have to do, and we cannot just jump to that top of the cone. It is a step by step process. So this is the literature review. First, Yildirim Sefa in 2018, in his study, The Effect of Educational Videos Used in History Education on Academic Success, showed that history videos can be helpful in research, and it will contribute greatly to improve and solve the gaps they present in history teaching. M.A. Gunisa and others assure in his study assure model, which is a model research and development, the documentary videos of Ryog dance to enhance learning outcome in history. ये light बंद करना, ये वाली. In history learning documentary video media showed that this the method that he has used, a sure method, and documentary videos which he has used will definitely help in upgrading the result of students studying history. Next is J. Mortal in his study Information Technology as a Tool for Teaching History with a focus on artificial intelligence and audio video material showed that the video was a perfect tool to get information, although the other material also had very good result, not to be neglected. Conversely, video proved to be a less suitable material for retaining knowledge with long-term memory. Other Saifuddin, in his study Enhancing History Education with AI-based LMS, supporting the independent curriculum in high school, confirmed that AI-based LMS content effectively support the implementation of independent curriculum in high schools, leading to improved student learning outcomes, integration of AI in education. Next study shows that by Hayat Ali, recent study, Artificial Intelligence in Service of Education, including the number of successful companies, business in the application of artificial intelligence in education, consider one of the function of artificial intelligence in grading process, and believe that artificial intelligence can perform the process very close to human, and it can help in, I'm sorry, today it is, it can help in making the learning process more integrative and more effective. So the result was that the quality of education and effectiveness of educational system is one of the most important concern of educational system and development decision maker in every country. AI, artificial intelligence, has this ability to reduce cost, increase quality, and align to the products of education system with the needs of society through a documented program and by changing the structure and methods of education. Method was primary data from NEP and NCEF, and secondary data from research paper, journal articles, websites, and conference paper. Now, application of AI in history education. It can help in personalized learning, interactive tools like virtual reality and AI-driven simulation can recreate historical event. For this, providing immense learning. Various tools are there on internet. I will show them in next slide. Access to archives, AI-powered digitalization makes rare historical documents accessible, fostering deeper exploration, and it will help in critical thinking. AI tools can present multiple perspectives on historical events, encompassing analytical skills. Now, there are various tools like Google Arts and Culture. This is a platform for virtual historical tool. TechEI can help teachers in preparing lesson, in preparing slides, and in generating AI generated images. Like in history, we cannot bring Alexander or some other or Gandhiji in our classroom, but this is AI which can help a teacher and a teacher to introduce them to students in the classroom. And like Sorcerer, Chronozoom, this is very important. Chronozoom, this with the help of this, history teacher can prepare a timeline more interactive. History.com and history. And now it is not just a question of making lesson interesting. AI is this means that AI is not for making interesting lessons or entertaining pupils or making them to sit at one place. It is more important than that the subject is taught in a way which bring about positive outcome for people. Now, challenges. Challenges students and teacher both can face, that over reliance on technology, and here the creativity of the teacher. If the teacher is pondering or researching again and again, then it is not a challenge. But if there is over reliance on technology, then it is a very big threat as well as a challenge. Ethical concern. Teachers sometimes what they do in hurry, they take the sources and don't take the permission of the creator. So ethical concerns are there. Data privacy and data security, as dealing with AI is very sensitive and critical issue. So teacher as well as student must be aware of that, where, what, and how they are putting and transferring their information. Digital device, like some people are blessed with this technology and other are not, other than connectivity, and this can be due to certain reason, like in my area, snowfall, geographical issue, connectivity. So there becomes a loop or a gap between technology, people holding technology, and where students and teachers are without technology. And most important, teacher training. Teacher training is a challenge. Are teacher ready to cooperate with AI? Are they ready to transform or compromise with their traditional way of thinking and delivering their lecture? That is why teacher training is so important. TPAC suggestion: a teacher in today's date must be very well off technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge. Digital literacy for both student as well as teacher is very, very important. And implementation, as NEP in its last line has mentioned, that it is the implementation of spirit and the intent. If I am not willing to implement this technology in my classroom, no one can force me to deliver lecture according to AI or with the help of AI. If I am not if I am not coming out of my comfort zone or not that much aware, so no one can push me to use technology in my classroom. Conclusion: the initiative reflected in NEP 2020 commits to leverage AI for holistic, inclusive, and forward thinking education system. This education system will not replace the application of oral and written language, printing, or audio, visual, and digital media in education. On the contrary, it will integrate and interact with existing technologies to form a new complex technology ecosystem, which means that the class teaching system in which lecture and textbook are primary teaching method will coexist. They will continue to exist. However, teachers' professional abilities must be improved, particularly insofar as small scale and individualized teaching will likely become an essential supplement to class teaching system. The ability of teacher to adapt to these emerging tools will become increasingly important. Moreover, the complex technology ecosystem that educative AI creates require teacher to enhance their digital literacy and capabilities to include mastery of educative AI and human computer collaboration. So these are the references. Thank you.
Congratulations, ma'am. Very well presented, especially
Thank you, sir.
subjects like where history, which is more of remembering the dates and events.
Yes, sir.
You know? So it's a lot of confusion among the students. They say unless, see, most of the times subject, yeah, certain subjects are too much dry, certain subjects are, dead subjects, or they call with different names. But how we teach, that makes the difference. Why many people are afraid of maths? Because it's
Sir,
not maths is, yeah.
sorry to interrupt, sir.
Mhm.
Sir, one video I want to show that inspired me more to choose this topic was this video.
Okay.
Yeah, sir. My motive is to that such videos can be incorporated in history teaching. When technology is collaborative with technology and curriculum development, the result will be more fruitful. That's it, sir.
This one is rightly pointed out. Technology has provided wonderful tools also
Yes, sir.
to, enhance the teaching,
Yes, sir.
and especially uh, teacher can overcome his own challenges or his or her own challenges,
Yes, sir.
by utilizing these tools, especially when AI has come. A
Yes, sir.
lot of more things have become easier. So teachers have to learn AI tools so that they know how to best leverage the benefits of implementing them as part of their curriculum.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Hmm. So very well presented. So even it
Thank you,
can
sir.
be like you have been a history teacher, so it's very important.
Yes,
And
sir.
even with other subjects also, more and more tools are available. So you can
Yes, sir.
concentrate. So this is a very good presentation uh, uh, for giving the concept of how AI can be used. So what you can do is you can also take up some tools, AI tools,
Yes, sir.
and you can present them how that tool can be used, how that tool can be accessed, and
Sir,
what
I have some other tools if you allow me.
uh, you want to present now.
No, no, sir. It's okay. It's okay.
No, if you want to present now, you can go ahead. That's why I'm asking.
Okay.
Otherwise, you want to make another presentation or tomorrow or day after tomorrow, that's also.
Sir, this is pottery. Okay. This is like in the form of game.
Mhm.
Hope this will load. And what student will do, this round, this will come, and it will instruct what you this is how you can create a pot. recreate the spot. Let's go. These are steps.
Is it loading? There is some network issue. Shilpa, can you hear me? I think there is some network issue. Uh, anyway, fine. It was very good presentation. So I think you can take, if you are able to hear me, you can take some time, prepare a presentation on AI tools in history or any other subject or in general, or you can have multiple sessions also if time, if you require more time to prepare, or if you want to segregate based on the subject, and you can make presentations in coming days. There is no limit or number of presentations. We have 8 more days left. So you can utilize this opportunity and make presentations. We also invite other presenters also, whichever field you are good at, come forward and utilize this opportunity to make presentations, to share, especially the tools like AI, you know, where people in their research methodology or pedagogy or curriculum development or content development, whatever area you are into. And you can talk about various trends on how to utilize AI tools in various aspects. So we congratulate and we'll move on to next session because we are also having time constraints. So next we will invite Pradeep for his presentation on second day of animal workshop. He is animal activist and advocate, and he is also working on, various aspects of animal welfare, animal advocacy, rehabilitation. So Pradeep, you can unmute yourself, start your video and presentation.
Thank you, Ravind, sir, for the wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone. I will welcome you all to this second day of International Social Work Day. So, before getting the introduction and all, I'll just share you the screen. Just give me a minute.
go to first slide.
Yes, sir. 1 minute. Sir, I hope everyone can view the screen.
Yes, ma'am. Can continue.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for coming. So today I'm going to talk about the 5 freedoms of animal welfare. So before going to the further, we need to know about how actually the 5 freedoms of animal welfare came into the existence. So if we talk about that, the importance of animal welfare was highlighted in 1964 when an activist named Ruth Harrison. So she's an activist and she published a book called and entitled Animal Machines. So where the book has exposed about to the public about the animal cruelty, how the industrial animal agriculture, factory farming practices in Britain has affected the well-being of the animals. The information contained in Harrison's book, combined with public outrage at its contents, prompted with the creation of this had lead to the uh, for an expert committee to officially investigate the welfare of the farm animals in the United Nations, sorry, United Kingdom. So this the committee has come up with a resulting report, which we call as Bramble report. So they stated that animals kept by humans should have the freedom and to stand up and lie down and turn around and groom themselves and stretch their limbs. So unlike the humans, we have the Maslow's theory. So similarly, they have come up with the uh, guidelines, which are Bramble's 5 freedoms of animal welfare, though they were specific to a industrialized animal agriculture settings. They may appear to be present a reader to be the both fundamental and self-evident. You can search in Google. You can also get the details about Bramble's 5 freedoms if you want the guidelines and the report. So further enhance learning about it, you can go ahead with that. And the report also talked about the fundamental and self-evident aspect. At the time of publications, it has mere creation of set of formalized guidelines for animal welfare, and which is actually a landmark for the development. So this is the book actually, if you can see in the picture, it's an Animal Machines by Rachel Carson. You can search in Google Books, you can get available about that particular book, which talks about industrial animal agriculture. And that was introduction. So when we talk about what are actually 5 freedoms of animal welfare, so these are actually formulated by a Bramble report, the UK Farm Animal Welfare Council. And here are the 5 freedoms. Like as we as a humans, we have the roti kapda makan. So the animals also have this 5 freedoms, which talks about freedom from hunger and thirst, and freedom from discomfort, freedom from pain, injury, and disease, and freedom to express normal behavior, freedom from fear and distress. So we will see like what actually every 5 freedoms of animal welfare constitutes. Going further ahead, these are the 5 domains of animal welfare where the 5 freedoms we have discussed, like providing good food and nutrition, giving animals a right amount of food and quality of fresh water to suit their needs, because if you provide good food and good nutrition for an animal, they will you are saving them from dehydration and starvation, and at the same time you are also saving them from prone from various immunological diseases, malnutrition problems, So one is that providing essential food and nutrition and water, which is very much important. And second is the environment where the animals are kept. It is very much important. So, like us human beings, animals may not able to speak for themselves, but they can experience all emotions since they are being sentient beings. Sentience in the meaning, uh, able to express their all emotions, either be sad, happiness, joy, anger. So these are all the emotional experiences where as a human being, we express it. Similar way, they express it through. If you take an example of a dog, it will bark and it will wag a tail. It will uh, drool around, and it is expressing its happiness through its facial expression, body language. Many of the traits are there. Uh, one of the major thing which plays ahead is environment, because if we have only good environment, the animal can be happy. If you kept an animal in a stressful condition, which is unhygienic, it's not in a good state of place, which will create an lot of stressful experience, and at the same time it will also experience an emotional trauma, like how we experience mental trauma, emotional trauma. The same way, animals also experience that. And the other factor is good health. Animal health is equal to human health. We all need to remember. So, preventing from any diseases and injury, if any found any animal which been injured, maybe you can try contacting the nearest animal welfare organizations, or you can also try contacting the state animal ambulance service. So, so timely response, and also helping them to free from pain and injury, which will enhance the good health. And also apart from that, providing necessary immunization vaccines, anti-rabies vaccination, which will prevent from the zoonotic infections like rabies, and also other diseases like parasitic infections, and diseases like parvo, distemper, canine distemper. So these diseases can be prevented. Other part is appropriate behavior. We all as a humans, we express our behavior traits. So similarly, animals also have this. For them to express their natural behavior, right amount of facility should be there. Uh, Giving enough space for them, like giving enough space to move around, play, for example, if you see in the picture, you see the dog is fetching a stick. So providing their if there's sufficient space for an animal to move around, and sufficient place to express its natural behavior and appropriate behavior. At the same time, they can make their own decisions also. And fifth one is positive experience. Try to eliminate or reduce the experiences. So, we as a like most of the times, the animals also have this traumatic situation. Maybe if to the if you see in any of the time, if you have experienced, most of the times, if you talk about dogs, we can see that they chase vehicles, or any bull or a cattle. If you see that they chase about the vehicles or any other things. No, the reason is the traumatic experience they have undergone. In the past incidents they have triggered out. That's the reason if you can see that if any stray dog, any community dog, they just chase the vehicles because in the past event of the time, it has triggered a lot of negative experiences. Maybe it has got injured. Maybe one of its puppies got uh, died because of the road rash. So such experience. So try to giving the animals a positive experiences, so that they can have positive and which will improve their health and wealth. It may be the physical wealth, emotional wealth, wise. So it is very much essential. So further moving on ahead, I hope everyone is has got some understanding about five freedoms of animal welfare, because we are going to do some scenario based. So if you are able to get that knowledge and everything, so we can you can type a chat box or else you can hand raise it so that we can, because the next one is an interactive session. Now that I have explained about what are actually the five freedoms, so I just want everyone to be a little bit interactive. So we have in the coming slides, we have designed a three scenario based. So where you will be able to answer the questions either in the chat box or else you can also hand raise it. So where the host will unmute, we can express your opinion. So moving on ahead, I hope the screen is visible and you are seeing one scenario where a dog is caged. On seeing the dog and the picture, what comes to your mind? Anyone of the participants, you can share it. The condition of the dog, condition of the animal.
Can use chat box to respond. I think we can continue, Pradeep.
Sure, sir. Thanks. So here we are in the first scenario. We are seeing that an animal, especially a dog, is being caged and it has been kept in dilapidated condition. And you can also see this stomach is malnourished. The owner has neglected it. Maybe it has a little bit of space to move around, but the dog is not provided enough food and water. So here, what actually the freedom is missing is freedom from hunger and thirst, and along with that, freedom to express its natural behavior. Because you can see that the animal is dog is stressed, and he's looking for love and emotion, like emotional well-being from its owner. But sadly, it is being put in and just a shelter has been provided, but no food, no water. So next thing is, your hands are being placed here. So any guesses what actually in the picture? Okay. So the image which you are viewing, it's called as the battery cage. So it's in a barren wire cage. It resembles like where and hens have been kept. So they could not have an opportunity to move around. They could not able to express their natural behavior. Like being hen, they are able to do the dust bathing, and also all the natural behaviors, they have been curtailed. And if you talk about the what are the five freedoms missing here is freedom. I think someone has, yeah, Mary Florence. I see that the dog is not in a healthy condition, and the animals are not able to uh, animals are not able to do normal behavior. Yes, Mr. Pan, Mary Florence. Yeah, thank you. So if you see in the picture, so most of the time in any poultry farms, if you can look into it, or any if you are seeing on the road, in a trucks, like small cages, tiny cages have been kept, and in that these hens have been just put it like a commodity. So they're not provided food, water, and the first freedom is missing. That's freedom from hunger and thirst, and at the same time, freedom to express its natural behavior has been curtailed, and freedom from pain, injury, and disease. Because such a long distances, the hands have been confined. So one they have been tightly packed. So what actually happens is, during that process, they during the process they get injured. The beaks, maybe one by one they get injured, and actually at that particular stage, uh, they have been all they are getting infected. Most of the some half of the way halfway, some will be died, so they get be infected also. You might be hearing about avian influenza. So the problem with the avian influenza or any other diseases is not following any proper of animal welfare measures, and the five freedoms of the animal welfare have been totally neglected. They have been treated as a commodity rather than a living being. So further moving ahead, yeah, so this picture, you see that cattle's have been tied up. Or any guesses what actually it is missing? And do you think it is a humane way? If it is a human way, why it is a human way? And if you think it is an inhuman way, and why it is an inhuman manner? You can type in the chat box, or else you can hand it uh, moderator, like the moderator will unmute you and express your opinion. Okay, fine. So here the cattle have been nose roped, and they have been one by like they have been uh, like they're not able to move, and they are have been surrounded, and they're so closely and tightly packed. And this is actually which is against to the uh, transportation of act rules. So in coming days, we will talk about this transportation illegal like transportation act rules. and also it is an illegal way of transporting animals, and it is causes immense amount of suffering. One thing, another thing is they are often not provided food and water, and so being transported for longer distances, they're not provided enough food and water. So the first freedom, the freedom from hunger and thirst is missing. And second thing is freedom to express its natural behavior and freedom from pain, injury, and diseases. Transporting from such a longer distances, since they have been so tightly nose rope, so they get injured, and they get some of them they get died from transporting from the long distances. So there have been no proper animal welfare measures. So it is an inhuman way of transportation of animals. So you have seen about the different cases about a lack of five freedoms, what happens in the three scenario. Now I'm going to play a video when all the five freedoms are met, how an animal will be. So this is normally we talk about a pig. We treat it as a like an mostly we talk it like an dirty, but here you are seeing about Picasso. It's an rescued pig from an slaughterhouse. It's in Africa now. So it's now right now the Picasso is in an animal sanctuary, which is run by an woman. So how you can see that how how the pig uh, curiously paints with paint brushes. Just a moment. So if if you can see that when an animals are provided all the basic five freedoms, they have creative skills. You can see in this video also how Picasso uh, pig, it's an animal how it uh, has painted by using paint brushes. So when it was being rescued, so what has happened is initially she used to being a piglet. So with curiosity, she used to take all the items and drop on the floor. But the piglet being in Picasso being piglet, she used to go to the paintbrush and she observe the paintbrushes. Oh, what it is. And slowly and steadily, it picked up the paintbrushes and began to draw. Normally, using the paint, maybe an image. It's not like a certain thing, but it began to draw. And the upon drawing the paint brushes, so the sanctuary person who has seen this creative way of painting, so he started to provide a one white paper. So every day, Picasso goes over there, picks up the paintbrush, and began to draw. So not only that, many of the people started to buy uh, the art created by Picasso, and they have also fundraised by selling the Picasso's uh, arts. So the amount of money which has been raised have been utilized for the uh, sanctuary animals which have been rescued from slaughterhouses, especially farm animals. Most of them they have been about to die. They have been slaughtered. So these animals they have been rescued. They have been kept over there, and they provided a decent life. So all in all, I just wanted to share with you on board is that respect and freedom, like human beings, how we deserve to be treated with respect and with freedom, how we want to express our emotions and how we want to how we communicate with our other fellow beings. Similarly, non-human other than humans, animals also have a the animals need to be respected and also they need to be provided with freedom. What every animals expect is they expect from us that they should be treated humanely with humane manner. That means no, no, free from torture, free from suffering, free from pain. So they may not be able to speak there for themselves because they don't have a voice. But we as a human beings, we as an intellectual, intelligent, most highest intellect on the mother planet, we can speak for themselves and we can be the voice for the voiceless. So with that, I am ending the presentation. Thank you one and all for so patiently listening to my presentation. Now that if you have any questions, feel free to type in the chat box or you can also hand raise it so that the moderator will unmute. Thank you, Ravinder sir, for this wonderful opportunity.
Congratulations, Pradeep, with the presentation. Like every animal also has got its own freedom. Like all species have their own natural rights. Animals also have got their rights. So we should respect, we should coexist with them in harmony, peace, promoting each other's rights. And fortunately, even the Human Rights Day is also commemorated as Animal Rights Day. So both are equally important. And you also have rightly pointed out. And, we often do not value because we think that humans are superior than animals. So that is what leads to discrimination of animals. So that should go away because we are seeing a lot of animals are becoming extinct. That is drastically affecting the ecosystems. And we are also seeing the climate change that is being impacted because loss of biodiversity and ecosystems. If one species is lost, then more or less permanently that role that species is playing in maintaining the balance of the planet is lost forever. So there are consequences for that. And if they are not happy, they are not contented, and their activities are also impacted. So this way, let's everyone be proactive in promoting animal rights and helping them. We may not, be able to prevent, but at least if everyone starts uh, by ourselves, stopping any violation of animal rights on any animal by ourselves, then automatically there will be no violation of animal rights. So let's not try to stop others, but if we ourselves, everyone stop, automatically this will stop. So in both ways, we need to do. We need to advocate. We need to raise our voice. At the same time, let's the change begin with ourselves. Let's stop animal cruelty and try to be vigilant. The most first step you can take is, try to, lessen the meat consumption or try to avoid meat consumption, because today we have a lot of alternatives. By saying no, you will also say no to animal cruelty, because when there is less demand for meat or meat products, definitely the industrial farming, the animal farming, which you have seen some photographs, it is even worse in certain animal farming places, industries. So you can say no by creating less demand or no demand. And so you can put an end to animal suffering. So it is all in our hands. Let's all contribute in whatever we can uh, by changing our lifestyle and going for more sustainable, environment friendly uh, practices that will save us and also the planet. Congratulations, Pradeep, once again for your wonderful presentation. We wish you all the success for your future endeavors.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mary Florence, for the wonderful message. Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir.
So if any, I think with this we are concluding our sessions. If anyone would like to make presentations as the last call for the day, you can share your details in chat box. Don't wait till last day. We are seeing dates. People are selecting last dates, and that may not be possible because we cannot extend our hours together on last day. So try to complete as early as possible. So generally it is 6 to 8. On some occasions we can extend an hour or so, but not like earlier going till midnight or so on. So try to complete as early as possible. We would like to give everyone opportunity. So utilize this opportunity as early as possible. And yeah, so anyone else would like to make presentations? So Shilpa Bhagat, you can tomorrow, I think we'll end today. We'll call it for the day today. Tomorrow or whenever it is feasible, you can come up with presentation exclusively on AI tools. So you'll also get some time to prepare and always try to connect to a stable network. So that will help us to be connected. And so with this, we shall end today's commemorations. So we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form that has been raised in the form of polls. So today we had various commemorations. We started the second day of the conference with commemorations like Freedom of Information Day, Young Careers Action Day, and European-wide Action Week Against Racism, National Animal Poison Prevention Week, National Poison Prevention Week, and National Inhalants and Poison Awareness Week, and World Folk Tales and Fables Week, National Panda Day, and so on, and followed by the presentations by Shilpa Bhagat, and also followed by Animal Welfare Workshop, Session 2, second day workshop by Mr. Pradeep. So with this, we shall conclude today's commemorations and sessions. So tomorrow, we will take it up on the third day. So we have seen that many people have registered but not coming forward, especially participants and presenters. So mere registration, you will not be able to get the benefit. Certificate is the last option, but we all need to support each other, and let's make it a grand way that we all participate and also present. So take this opportunity to complete the formalities also. Whoever has presented, uh, go through the presentation guidelines and complete the formalities, so that on the last day, we are planning to issue certificates on the last day. So by last day, all the presenters and participants should be completing their formalities. Otherwise, whoever completes will get the certificates, and those who are not completing, so they will be issued later once they complete. So don't procrastinate in completing formalities. Try to complete as early as possible. And those who are willing to make more presentations are welcome. Take this opportunity, utilize this opportunity, and try to make as many presentations as possible on different topics. So see you all tomorrow, the same time with the same joining link. Take care. Good night. Before leaving, we request everyone to fill up the feedback form. After filling up the feedback form, you may leave the platform.